In today's webinar, I'm going to share 3 strategies that you can do today as a time-poor woman to help you either build or maintain muscle mass. If you're between the age of 35 and 50, we can't ignore this anymore. And these 3 strategies are going to help you every step of the way. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Nika. I'm the the founder of True Self Mastery, and I do a 6-week elevated female wellness course. I take females for a personalized approach because that is the key. There is the personalized approach. It's not generic, into helping you through the hormonal imbalance. So that can be perimenopause, menopause, postmenopausal, or even if you're someone who has a menstrual cycle and you are in a lot of pain and discomfort, send me a DM or simply visit my website, send me an email, info@trueselfmastery.com. Let's dive straight in. I used to be a competitive equestrian, so I represented Great Britain. I've also been a flat jockey, so pushing myself from a physical point has been the priority in my 20s. Then I stopped competitive riding and I went and became a chiropractor, done a master's in that. And that did mean a very big step down from physical activity, as you can probably imagine. I then did that in my 20s into my 30s, and then where I am today, I started to realize a huge change in my body, and the ability to go to the gym wasn't as easy as it used to be in my late 20s and my early 30s. And I'm going to go into that and explain that to you. But the first principle of maintaining muscle mass and building muscle mass is not a surprise. It is lifting heavy, going to the gym and doing some resistance training. There's this awesome quote, and it says, you can't expect to get stronger if you find things easy. And that applies for so much in life, right? Because a lot of us want change. We want that. We want that dream body. We want that dream job. We want that house, but yet we're not willing to put in the effort because the effort's hard and it's uncomfortable. And it's not what we are wired to seek is uncomfort. Our brain is wired to seek comfort, which is why we're always thinking if tigers are going to jump out the bush and eat us, when really in this day and age we live in, we need to learn how to manage that, which we're going to go into in a minute. But when it comes to lifting heavy, now, if you're a female, especially how I used to think, which was, I don't want to get bulky and I don't want to lift weights because I'm going to get bulky. And oh my God, I was so misinformed. And I'm so glad that is out of my head. And if you're sat there thinking, yeah, that's totally me, I don't want to lift weights and get bulky, you would have to lift a hell of a lot of weights, eat a lot of protein to actually build bulky muscle. And not only that, you might not have the genetics to do it as well. So that's the least of your worries, getting bulky. We have to remember that as we age, especially after the age of 35, progesterone goes down. Now, as she goes down, the enzyme goes up. So you might feel that if you go to the gym, especially in your 35 into your 40s, you might feel amazing. And I know that feeling. It's not every week, but there are times when I go to the gym and I feel like Superwoman. I am on top of the world because of what it does to my hormones. And actually, I've changed my mindset. I'm not aging and looking for expecting to be getting older and more wrinkly and all that. I'm actually telling myself that I'm aging powerfully. Like as I get older, I get stronger. That is the mindset I've adopted, and those are the thoughts I'm telling myself because we all know how powerful your thoughts can be. So I embody that within myself. So that's the first one, is lift weights and lift heavy weights. Now, if you're someone that's like, I've never lifted weights, start today. Simple as. There's other strategies as well. If you don't have time to go to the gym, put weights around the house, right? After you've done whatever task, lift some weights, do some reps, and then move on. There's so many little things that you can do. There's no excuses. The only thing holding you back right now today from building muscle and maintaining muscle mass is yourself, is what you're telling yourself, okay? If you're telling yourself you can't do it, you can't do it. And there's no one else in the world that hasn't done it. Come on, let's be real. There 100% is. Okay. The other thing is when you go to a gym and you're a little bit unsure, and even if you're a expert in the gym, I've been training weights now for over 10 years, and I can promise you it is painstakingly difficult to actually build. You have to be really, really consistent with your training to even think about building. The key I can guarantee you is get a personal plan. And by that, I mean something that suits you and your lifestyle. All these generic training things, yes, follow them, but you might not feel the progress because it's not personalized to you. That goes without saying, right? Right. Number two, principle number two for building muscle and maintaining muscle is drumroll protein. We know this is not a new concept, but I have to talk about it. So, there's a lot of theories about protein, how much you should be getting in that, but a lot of research is going towards 30 grams first meal of the day, no matter what that is, whether you're a faster or not. 30 grams in your first meal will open up the amino acid, and it's a pathway called the mTOR pathway. That light opens up when you're hitting the 30 grams of protein. So, I find it's actually quite hard to do that every day. So what, not the 30 grams, but your 30 grams in your first meal, plus then 1 to 2 grams of protein per your ideal body weight. So for me, that average is between 130 to 135 in a maintenance. And if I wanting to build, I go a little bit higher as well. That also works on my training. So a lot of women say to me, Nika, that's quite hard to do. And I don't blame you, it can be, especially if say you are non-dairy or you're plant-based. So I'm going to give you some tips, okay? For starters, really good thing in the morning, if you're someone who's also fasting, is black coffee, put your paleo protein powder, put some collagen, put some amino acids, MCT oil, the healthy fats in there. You are going to be really kickstarting the protein, but without spiking your glucose, and especially if you're someone who is fasting for ketosis. I'm not the expert in fasting. Mindy Peltz, go and visit her. She's an absolute goddess of that. So go and visit her. She'll tell you everything about fasting you need to know. I absolutely love listening to her. But if you're someone who is dairy, cottage cheese is amazing. Greek yogurt is also amazing. The issue with things like Greek yogurt, well, especially cottage cheese, is that it's pasteurized. So it's basically dead, which means all the live enzymes have been taken out. So where you can, if you have dairy and you like dairy, try and get like cream that's raw cream, which has the enzymes in it, really good for your gut. The same with the milk. A lot of our milk now, unfortunately, has lost all those enzymes from the cows. So we need to make sure that we are looking at what's fresh, what's whole, what's pasteurized, what's not. The other thing is if you are non dairy, so and we're eating plants, the best thing is legumes. Legumes are key, especially lentils. Like lentils, powerhouse, my ladies. Okay, it still might mean it's a little bit hard to get your protein in, but again, the lentils have amino acids, have leucine in it, which is really, really good. Another thing you could try is put some collagen powder, the again vegan paleo protein powder in there. Just check the ingredients, check how fresh and how pure that collagen is before you have it. And I've said before, some MCT oils as well. So, should you be having protein after you've exercised, after you've done a training session, like a resistance training session? 100% yes, do it. Now, the time frame very much differs. There's some research out there to show that after 30 minutes of doing a really heavy resistance training session, you need to be having 100 grams of protein. Now, that for me is hard, and I won't do that. Like, I'm like, that's way too much for me. But that research has come from bodybuilders, and I'm not a bodybuilder. So if you are one, awesome for you, and hit that 100 grams after you've worked out. If you're not, if you're like me, I aim for around 20 to 30 grams within 30 to 60 minutes of working out. There is that window of opportunity when the mTOR pathway is open and you have broken down muscle. You want to replenish that muscle ASAP as soon as you've worked out. So there is some theory behind it, and I'm not the expert, but that's kind of what the research is showing, and that's what I recommend for me and my clients. Now, the third thing, which is honestly the one of the biggest reasons people don't build muscle or maintain muscle mass, despite going to the gym and following the previous two principles, is our sex hormones, especially testosterone, ladies. Now, you can do various tests, but the honest answer is our hormones are changing every week, every day, depending on what we're doing with them, depending on our life and our stress and what age we are, etc. That there is no infinite test that will tell you how your hormones are today for the rest of your life. So think of it like a moving scale of where your hormones constantly are, which makes it really hard if you're a quantifiable, like logical person who's like, my testosterone's here and it must be there, and it can frustrate you. The answer is your body. Your body knows. Learn to listen to the symptoms. Learn to listen to understand your body. Now, that might sound like a bunch of woo-woo. However, fundamentally, women have this innate sense within us. We have this intuition, and our bodies are so friggin' powerful once we learn to listen to them that you will understand your hormones off the scale, no matter what any blood test says, if you learn to listen to your body. So, the reason it is so important to manage stress is because I love this little it's almost like a cartoon sketch I have in my brain when I'm teaching my clients and understanding it for myself as well when I'm highly stressed to really bring myself down a peg or two. I, for many years, have had my own business that comes with stress, right? We've got family, we've got traffic, we've got the shitstorm that is life coming down on us all the time. So, stress, especially in this day and age of phones, beeping, messages, all that, just goes sky friggin' high without us really even trying. So, we owe it to our wonderful adrenal glands to who is already trying to manage this high cortisol off the scale. So imagine your adrenal glands are like in a boxing ring. That's how I imagine them. Like, and I have actually boxed before, so I do know this feeling. Imagine them as like bare knuckle fighters. Like every friggin' day, maybe for the last 10, 20, 30 years, like 3 decades, depending on how old you are and how much stress you've put your body through, your adrenal glands have been in the corner, like, I've got you, like fighting away, trying to manage this cortisol, trying to manage all this external stress that you have put on it. And it is drained, but it is trying. It's a fighter survival mechanism. That tiger's not going to get you because your adrenal glands have been pushing. I feel exhausted even describing that. I want to hug my adrenal glands, to be honest. Now, imagine if you're in that stage of you have a menstrual cycle, but she's going and she's almost on her way out. So your wonderful ovaries, who has been responsible for your sex hormones and reproducing your sex hormones, she suddenly goes, "Do you know what? I'm done. Like I have released an egg every month for the last, I don't know, 20, 25 years, and I'm done. Like I'm going to hand over my responsibility to guess who? You guessed it, those bare knuckle fighter adrenal glands who are like, are, are you freaking kidding me? You want me to take on this extra responsibility of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone because you've decided to give up, diva? It's a sad truth, but it happens. And this is where this kind of shitstorm happens in our brain, especially through the perimenopausal phase, where your body almost goes into shock of like, what is happening? And I see this a lot with ladies who have managed their cortisol a little bit better in their 20s and 30s. They sail through perimenopause a lot more easier than ladies who are highly stressed, come from very stressed backgrounds. They've allowed the external environment to affect them because it happens to all of us. They really struggle through this perimenopausal phase. Now, if you're sat there going, well, right, what's the answer? How do we manage stress? The answer is simple. It is progress. There is no one size fits all. There's not try this magic training thing and this magic pill or this supplement, this diet that's going to fix it. The beauty is that you have the control and the decision to manage your stress. It is up to you to let external things affect you. Now, that is so easily said when you have no stress, right? You sit there going, oh, I can manage stress. Like, just breathe through it and it's fine. And I'll just write some stuff down in a journal. But the reality is, shit happens. And when it happens, it's friggin' hard to manage your stress because your brain goes, ah, can't do it, freaking out. So, you fall to the level of your preparation. There is no excuses. So the best time to start is now. If you're in a low stress environment at the moment, start practicing how you will manage stress because it's normally the simple thoughts, the stories we tell ourselves that when we ignore over time really manifests into something that we cannot control with high anxiety and making us feel overwhelmed. Start today, not tomorrow. We all have this inner stress within us. So we all have this ability to control our inner stress from the external stuff that comes out and comes at us. So just to sum up, the three strategies to managing and maintaining muscle mass is protein, lifting weights, and stress management. Those three. Hopefully you found today helpful. We are action takers here at True Self Mastery. So take what I've said today and go with it. Not only will you feel better from the inside out, you will lose fat more natural. You won't store body fat. Your brain clarity will be so much higher. If you want a more personalized approach and you want a strategy that actually works for you and your lifestyle, comment below or send me an email at info@trueselfmastery.com and let's have a conversation on how I can help you with your current lifestyle.